Marathon's VaultBreakers mode is here, and truth be told, I think it's pretty fun. I never really got heavy into Cryo Archive, so this is a pretty good way for me to enjoy the map, learn the map, and crack some vaults while I'm at it. But it got me thinking about ways a PvE mode could be introduced into Marathon and not take away from the core extraction mode. As we know, VaultBreakers is a temporary mode, only lasting, I believe, about 2 weeks, but in Season 3 there will be a full mode, and this is kind of what I am hoping for, / would like to see, / some ideas I came up with after playing VaultBreakers a little bit myself. Before we go any further, if you have any ideas of your own for game modes, or any ideas to alter mine or anything like that, please do drop them down in the comments, and while you're down there, could you do me a huge gift, I guess? And like and sub to my channel and like this video. I'm trying to get to 500 subs by the end of the year, and it would be a huge help. So how does VaultBreakers, as what I'll be referring to as VB in this video, work? This is going to be pretty important to how I would make a PvE mode, and I do have 3 that I want to go through, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So in VB, you essentially spawn at first, your very first time doing it, with a very default and lackluster loadout, basically a free kit, with the goal of completing as many vaults as you can. Along your way, you get these little red blobs called vault data. You can use these vault data blobs to exchange for rewards or upgrades. These rewards range from blue gear to gold key templates for normal runs, and for upgrades are all for your kit when you let in. Ranging from a magnum to start alongside your usual scar, to upgraded shields to different medical items. But there are 2 tiers to these blobs. There's T1, what is your lower end gear, what I just said about, so like your blue gear and your prestige key templates, and there's a T2 that reward items like unique golds and even the biotoxis injector. Not only that, but all of the upgrades are even better, including things like higher tier backpacks, and certain items need to unlock other vaults. Certain things like the pump station credits for Vault 3, or the lab coat for Vault 6. So how does this even all link back to my modes? Well, simply put, my modes would utilize what VB has already built and build on them. Now, since VB is a temporary mode, there would first need to be changes to its rewards and when it's active. So to start, when it's active, well, Marathon needs a 24/7 PvE mode to cater to that audience, so ideally 24/7 alongside the normal maps. Well, what about the rewards? Well, VB has extremely high value rewards, as we know, so how I would change it for my new modes would be pretty simple. Keep the blobs how they are, however, change the rewards themselves. T1s would now reward things like blues, as it already does, and replace the gold key with something like 3 blue templates and 1 purple template per week. Then, alongside that, increase how much salvage you get from the salvage packages. These salvage packages are already quite expensive, at around about 300 T1 blobs, and I think that might just be a little too much for me to warrant buying them, but if they had more and more salvage in them, then I would absolutely be more warranted to. But what about the T2 rewards? Well, we still want them to be valuable, so I would replace the gold uniques with something like the ganglion trades we already have in the game. Give us like 3 weapons per week we can claim at one time, all with gold mods but no other mods, similar to again how the ganglion has. But what about the biotox, the big juicy thing? And honestly, I say keep it, but price it super high. Currently it's 225 T2 blobs, double that to like 500 or even 750, make it a tough challenge to get but rewarding. But I don't think that's enough. Make more unique cosmetics for it. Things like runner skins, weapon skins, backgrounds and titles, the stuff you can physically see and want to use. Nothing too crazy that would take away from, the actual life source of this game being the store and the battle pass, but stuff that is cool enough that makes you think, I want that. Something like a VaultBreaker title for doing 5-in-1 run, alongside some other challenges, or Vault Legend for getting all the skins, for example. But what about the kit upgrades? Honestly, in their current fashion, isn't too great. Maybe more choice with your secondary weapon would be nice. Maybe options for grenades or options for actual buffs like slight health regen or ammo recuperation on kills. With all that said, that brings me to my 3 ideas. Well, pretty similar to one another, I'm not gonna lie, but I think they could be cool to see. My first one would be a COD Zombies inspired Husk Horde mode. Imagine this, you start a game on Night Marsh in a ran down destroyed maintenance, suddenly Oni talks to you and says something along the lines of, "Runner, something's wrong here." Then bam, you hear it. That loud distorted screech from a husk, next thing you know it's running at you full sprint. Then another, and then another. Then you see a wave counter appear in the top corner, and it begins. After every 5 or so rounds, you can get a temporary break to upgrade some aspects of your gear for that run. Maybe some more ammo in stacks, a better shield, more meds, who knows. This will directly use your kit that you built in the armory, the same one that VB currently uses, and that way you can start with a weapon of choice and maybe a blue shield, but once the waves start coming, that will mean nothing. You could even have an in-game leaderboard for the highest round survived, and certain milestone rounds could reward cool unique skins for runners. Imagine after surviving 30 rounds on a certain runner, let's say Vandal in this case, you unlock a skin for her that's battle-worn and covered in husk blood, similar to how her deluxe edition skin looks. Depending on how high you get to a round where you die or exfil on, you get a certain amount of T1 or T2 blobs. Secondly, a base defense type mode. This one's similar to the third mode, but hear me out. Same start, the kit you built from before. This time you have something to defend against from the UESC, something like a key room, for example. An endless wave mode, but the further you go, the better the rewards in the key room. Alongside a torrent of blobs, obviously. This way you can utilize throwing everything the UESC has at you. Recruits, stealth bots, snipers, everything. They can even have unique modifiers as well, like maybe slowing rounds, more gloppy explosions like the current Grenadier Commander has, stuff like this. And at the end of every round you get an option to end it and claim the rewards or continue for another round. This will be a real test of your kit. Now obviously this one would be harder to balance the rewards for. Maybe at most blue key rooms rewards, since blue keys can still drop things like purples or golds at a lower drop chance. Let's say the further you go, the more stuff you'll get in the actual strong boxes. Let's say you survive one wave, you will only get 2 items in the strong box, but let's say you go 5, you get 3. For example, not including things like the blobs and ammo, because they will always be a thing going on in this game mode. But I think there could be some potential here. A test of your kit, your resilience, and your skill all utilised. It would also prove that the bots are not something to be taken lightly. And the last one is a classic Gears / kind of, I guess, a roguelike horde mode, where you spawn with your kit, a couple of bonus upgrades, and you fight wave after wave of enemies. Every 2 rounds is a boss wave, and every boss wave you complete, you get a nice piece of bonus loot for yourself, what slots into your backpack. The reward quality would increase every boss wave, and at the final boss wave of 10, you get 3 pieces of loot. This way you still have to manage your bag and decide on what you want to keep. I'm going with the idea of a very, very small chance of obtaining gold items from this, but you can get anything, a green core, a purple shield if you're lucky enough, and a gold key, for example. Either way, I think it'd be a cool way to obtain some higher level loot, and with this mode you can create your own loadout. If you die, you lose it, and right after you complete the final boss wave, you get a 3-minute timer to exfil. But where would this take place? I think that's kind of the best part already. Marathon already has such cool maps. Literally any POI from the 3 base maps. One game you're in Hauler, the next you're in Dorms, the next you're in Complex. It would keep it feeling unique and fresh. So that's kind of my 3 ideas of what I would make personally if I was creating a PvE style mode. Now, obviously, there's a lot of caveats here. I've missed a lot of spaces. If I was to actually flesh these things out into a big ass fucking script, this video would be 45 minutes long, and I don't want to put you through all that pain. Take this as how what I would like to see as a skeleton, and then maybe it gets built on, maybe it gets changed, I don't know. Either way, I think this would be a really, really cool, all 3 of these ways would be a really, really cool way to incentivize PvE in the game, use unique things like modifiers, use unique things like different build crafting, different slightly build upgrades. It'll keep the kit upgrade system. You can still get decent rewards from it. You get rewards in your runs themselves. And obviously things like money would come from doing, credits, would obviously come from doing all this. I think it would just be a nice way to cater to the people that want PvE, but not taking away from the extraction core of the game. In all 3 of these game modes, you still have to get out and extract at some point, or you die and you lose the gear you obtained in that run. I think that still keeps, again, that kind of roguelite type of feel to it, but it also keeps that heavy extraction formula that Marathon was built on. Either way, let me know what you think down in the comments, and I will hopefully see you in the bloody next one.